وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر عبر WDMV راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem, editor via Michigan.com and host of the Local Connections on U.S. Arab Radio, the best ethnic radio in North America. Today is Friday, June 29th, 2018, and we're glad that you're with us. The number here is 248-557-3300. It's going to be a hot one today. It already started around 74. I could reach in the 90s, and we're told that we're going to have a very hot weekend and leading into the 4th of July weekend, or for 4th of July day rather, which is beyond Wednesday. So take cover. It's going to be hot. Stay inside. If you don't have to be outside, make sure your kids and your pets are protected. It is an oppressive heat. It's already affecting a big part of the country. We have a great program for you today. And before we go into the program, we just wanted to very quickly our condolences to the families and the victims of the Gazette in Maryland. Somebody came in yesterday, or one person rather, walked into the Gazette and shot 5 people. He was upset about an article that was written. Our prayers and thoughts are with the families. In the news also is the decision of Judge Kennedy. I think it's one of the worst decisions he's ever made to quit at this time. He could have waited a little bit for better time to quit. This is, I think, in my opinion, is the worst time for him to quit. We will talk about that a little bit later. The immigration debate continues after the Supreme Court decided to uphold the Muslim ban. It's unfortunate, and it's really unfortunate when the highest court in the land sides or upholds racism. It's very unfortunate. We hope that debate also, or that these issues get clarified eventually, or if there is any way to make any changes to that. Again, we want to welcome you for being with us this morning. It is almost 8:04, and the program includes, we have Abdul El-Sayed, who is running for governor. Also, later on in the program, we'll have Dr. Amer Zahr, and he is a law professor and a comedian. I don't know how he can mix the two, but he's a good comedian and he's a good law professor. Dr. Suwan will be with us later on to talk about this psychological aspect in the immigration debate. All these children that are being separated from their parents, and also the children that were hoping to be reunited with their parents, and now they cannot because of the Muslim ban. We're going to be starting with our first guest, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. I think it's Abdul Rahman Muhammad El-Sayed. Good morning.
Good morning, Khalil. Thanks for taking the time. Ahlan, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're very busy campaigning, and I hope that I pronounced your name correctly.
Yeah, no, the full name is Abdul Rahman Muhammad El-Sayed. I started going by Abdul in kindergarten. I was raised by my father, who is an immigrant from Egypt, as well as my stepmom, Jackie, who was born and raised in the middle of Michigan. And I started kindergarten in 1989. And my stepmom pretty wisely realized that an 11-letter first name was going to be a little bit hard in kindergarten. and so I wonder if you can guess who was topping the charts in 1989.
Abdul?
Exactly. It was Paula Abdul, and there was also Abdul Jabbar. And so I had a bit of a truncation, and I became Abdul in kindergarten, and it's been, sort of who I was. But I'm very proud of my name, Abdurrahman. It's a beautiful name, and I'm very thankful for it.
It is. Before we get into the politics, I'd like our listeners to know a little bit more about you. If you please tell us, I know that you're raised in Michigan, and, tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Michigan, born in Rochester Hills, and both my parents are Egyptian immigrants, and they came here. My father was the son of a vegetable salesman, and my grandmother, who remains to this day the wisest, most intelligent person I've ever met in my life, but she never got to go to school. And my dad was the oldest of six in that family, and he got to come here to go to Wayne State University to pursue graduate education in engineering. And he came here taking a bet on an America where it shouldn't matter the color of his skin, how he prays, that his name was Muhammad, but that he could be just as American as anyone else. My parents got divorced soon after having me, and then they both remarried. My mom moved back to the Middle East. My father married a woman from a place called Gratiot County, Michigan, she was a daughter of the Revolution, been here since before the Revolutionary War. So I was raised in Metro Detroit by Muhammad and Jackie, and so I'd spend half my summers in Masr, in Alexandria, with my grandparents, aunts and uncles and cousins, and then half of my summers in the middle of Michigan, in Montcalm County, Michigan, with the other side of my grandparents, aunts and uncles and cousins. And
which one is hotter, Alexandria or Michigan?
The beautiful thing is actually Alexandria in the summer is not too hot.
Because it's on the sea.
You're right there on the beach, and you got the coordination. If it gets too bad, you just go take a dip in the beach.
Exactly.
So actually, ironically, Montcalm was probably a bit hotter. But the nice thing is, my family has had cottages on a lake in Montcalm County called Crystal for a long time. So same deal, right? If you got too hot, you just go take a dip in the lake, and I grew up around large bodies of water, very different bodies of water, but large bodies of water, and I've had an affinity for them ever since.
Wonderful.
So, for me, I came to appreciate, I love people. I love hearing their stories, understanding who they are, how they come to their moment in the world, and what they want to do in it. And I also love science. Both my parents are engineers, and so I thought I wanted to be a doctor. Went off to Michigan, studied biology and politics, and came to appreciate that my interest in medicine had a lot more to do with understanding disparities in health, why some people are healthy and some people are not. And for me, I got to spend a lot of my summers in Egypt. We'd go 8 hours on an airplane, and we'd cross chasms in access to opportunity, 10-year life expectancy gap. But the fact is that driving south to Detroit from Oakland County, where I grew up, I'd cross the same difference in access to life opportunities and life expectancy. And I realized I was really interested in understanding why people get sick from the political side rather than just the biological side. And I did an MD at Columbia in New York, and I also had the opportunity to go to Oxford and do a PhD in public health, and then made an odd decision when I graduated medical school to dedicate my career to public health. And so took me down a very different path. I was a professor at Columbia University for a couple of years, and realized I was a lot more interested in doing work to fix the health disparities that I saw rather than just to understand them. And then got to come home to rebuild the health department in Detroit. And in that role, we were able to deliver every child a pair of glasses, stand up to big corporate polluters, make sure that our kids weren't exposed to lead in their schools, but then also realize that the politics around decisions that are made for public health are really broken. Corporations get more than their fair share, while everybody else has to deal with the decisions that they're pushing, and realize there was a real responsibility to run for office.
What's the best or the most accomplishment that you're proud of, or most proud of in working in Detroit?
In Detroit, I'll be honest, the moment that I got to put a pair of glasses on a little boy who'd never had a pair, and he looked at his hand and he said, there are wrinkles in my hand, and that was a moment where you come to appreciate both the privileges that you have and the responsibility to make sure others have them. I mean, that boy had never even seen the wrinkles in his hand. And to me, that was a moment that I realized this work really matters. And if we can get it right, people can have substantially better access to great opportunities than they have right now.
Isn't it something that, we can build $1 billion plane and get to whatever we want to get, in outer space, and yet we have these disparities here in the United States?
Khalil, that's a really, really important observation. And the fact is that there's deep poverty in our country. And for a lot of us, we choose not to look at it because it's a lot easier to look at the beautiful things in this country. But I think we owe a responsibility to the privileges that we have to really solve challenges, because the most valuable thing in the world is a person, and we're holding so many people back from being able to be the people who design the future, those $1 billion planes, and reimagine how we do what we do technologically, and provide us beautiful art. How many geniuses go unfound, right? Because we as a society have not invested in a more equitable space where everybody has access to something as basic as healthcare, and has a great school that is going to grow their mind and allow them to flourish. And we miss that. And so, to me, I think there's nothing more beautiful or worthy of investment than people. And we've got to build a society where everybody gets that investment, and then we watch what they do. And we'd be so much better off for it.
Yeah. What has always, I've been in America for 35 years, and I'm a proud citizen. But it always gets me that we always have to explain to people two important facts, that these are basic necessities, which is education and healthcare. And this is beyond me, that I've, as a journalist and as someone who's active in the community or in the country as a whole, that we have to explain to people that these are important things. I mean, it's beyond me.
There is a national myth in America that anybody who's made it on their own. And I'm not somebody who's going to take away anything from the hard work that people put into making it. I know what that looks like, and I appreciate that. And, I pride myself on being somebody who's going to work harder than anybody else around me. But let's be clear that the people who made it largely also because they had the opportunity to flourish. And when you don't have those two basic things, good health care and a good education, there's no such thing called being able to make it. I've met so many incredible people, humble people on the campaign trail, people who work so hard just to stay afloat. And because our society hasn't invested in those two things, we're putting them in positions where they can't actually flourish.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so we've got a responsibility to make sure everybody can succeed when they work hard. And I saw that for myself because, I got to spend a lot of my summers with my cousins in Egypt who are just as smart, just as capable as I am, but they just never had the opportunities that I had. And my grandmother used to pull me aside and she said, "Don't you ever believe that you're any better than any of these other kids who are your cousins. But you have more opportunities than they have because you're getting what you're getting in America, and more than that, you have more responsibility."
Absolutely.
And I've always taken that to heart, because that kind of wisdom, sometimes something we forget in our country, and we've got to remember that.
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about, why you're running for governor and what you want to accomplish. Stay tuned, please.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
كنت أبحث عن اشتراك في خدمة تلفزيونية جديدة، لكن صاحب المتجر أخبرني عن IPTV بوكس والتي تحتوي على القنوات العربية.
ادفع لمرة واحدة فقط واستمتع بالقنوات المميزة مدى الحياة مجانا.
أوه يا له من عرض! لقد ظننت أنني تسرعت في الشراء، وفي غضون أسبوعين بدأت قنواتي المفضلة في الاختفاء. حاولت الاتصال بالشركة، عندها اكتشفت أنه ليس لدي تصريح لمشاهدة القنوات المميزة. يا لها من مضيعة للمال والوقت.
تفضل بزيارة checkyourbox.com wnzk.com اليوم للتأكد من أن جهاز IPTV Box الخاص بك مصرح به وأن قنواتك المفضلة متاحة وآمنة ولا تنخدع بالسعر فقط.
بدأناه معكم وعاهدناكم على أن نستمر بمزيد من المتعة والعروض الحصرية على قناتي زي ألوان وزي أفلام. زي ألوان هي أول وأكبر قناة مسلسلات عربية هندية في أمريكا، أضخم الإنتاجات، مسلسلات حصرية. ومع زي أفلام فأنتم على موعد مع مغامرة جديدة كل يوم لاكتشاف سحر بوليوود. تابعوا حصريا قناتي زي ألوان وزي أفلام الآن في أمريكا على ديش نتورك وسلينج تي في.
Life is a non-profit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
الريحة طيبة والصوت روعة، الألوان شي مثل الخيال، والشكل لوحة فنية. ضل ندوق الطعمة، بس مع زياد ما في خوف على الطعمة لأنه الجودة أساس بكل المنتجات. مع زياد صفرتك على الأصول، من عائلتنا إلى عائلتكم.
When it comes to reproductive medicine, IVF Michigan Fertility Centers are the recognized leaders. With locations in Bloomfield Hills and 5 other cities in Michigan and Ohio, IVF has experts in all aspects of the field. As a founding member of IVF Michigan Fertility Centers, Dr. Nicholas Shama is one of the leading reproductive endocrinologists in Michigan and Ohio. Dr. Shama has performed over 10,000 IVF cases and has helped thousands of couples fulfill their dreams of parenthood. American board certified in both obstetrics and gynecology and reproductive endocrinology and infertility, Dr. Nicholas Shama is a very caring, compassionate, expert physician that understands not only the medical but also the emotional toil of infertility on his patients. When it's time, get personalized care from Dr. Nicholas Shama at IVF Michigan Fertility Centers in Michigan and Ohio. Call toll-free 855-952-9600, 855-952-9600.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. The number here is 248-557-3300 and we are talking to Abdul El-Sayed, who is running for governor. To continue our discussion, now we know, who you are and why do you want to run for governor?
Well, I sometimes think that if my father would have known that his eldest son would end up running for office, he probably would have stayed back home in Egypt. But I'll be honest with you, I was never supposed to run. I just got really frustrated recognizing that the decisions that politicians make often are more focused on what's good for corporations or those who have a lot of money than everyday people. And I watched that firsthand when I was at the city of Detroit. I was rebuilding a department that had been shut down when the city went through bankruptcy. I watched as emergency managers who came through in Detroit then poisoned 9,000 kids in Flint, and then I watched a man who had no business leading a group of ducks get elected president of the United States. And I just realized that we have a responsibility to be engaged. Now, first time anybody who actually knew what they were talking about told me that I should consider running for office, it was at my college graduation. I was the valedictorian of my class at Michigan. And I was honored to give the commencement speech, the student commencement speech. But the speaker that anybody actually went to go listen to that day was President Bill Clinton, including my own parents, who made it very clear. But I gave my speech, and President Clinton gave his speech. He said some really nice things about me in his speech. And then afterwards, I saw him in a group of people, and I didn't want to bother him. So being a good Midwestern boy, I just started walking out. And then I felt a tap on my shoulder, and I looked back, and it was President Clinton. And he looks at me and he says, son, why are you going to medical school? Which is not a question that most people ask a graduating senior going to medical school. And I looked at him and I said, well, jokingly, I'm Muslim. That's just what we do. as an Arab guy, that's like what your parents either want you to be an engineer, a doctor, or maybe a business person, but probably an engineer or a doctor.
Exactly.
But in all seriousness, I said, look, I love people and I love science, and this is how I want to serve. And he looks at me and he says, you have a natural gift for communicating, and maybe someday you'll consider running for office. And I looked at him and I said, Mr. President, I really appreciate you saying that, but I don't know if you saw my first name. There are 11 letters in my first name, and that's just my first name. It was 6 years after 9/11.
Exactly.
I just never thought anybody like me could ever be elected to anything.
Yeah.
A year later, I had the privilege of watching Barack Hussein Obama get elected president, and it's the first time I ever saw myself in a politician. His father immigrated from Africa. My father immigrated from a different part of Africa. He was raised in a mixed household. I was raised in a mixed household. He's really smart. I pretend like I'm smart. Well,
you are very smart.
Well,
we're proud of you.
I appreciate you saying that, but I yet to be seen. Look, but I realize that that right now, in this moment, we have a responsibility to stand up and to stand up for an America that includes all of us.
Absolutely.
And, as an unapologetic Arab and Muslim American, I believe that I have every right to my Americanness and to aspire to the highest ideal of citizenship, independent of where my family came from, independent of what I look like, independent of how I pray like. That this is a right, and I think right now exerting our rights becomes a responsibility, and that is important. And more importantly than that, there are a lot of people who don't have nearly the privilege that I've had as a function of where I got to grow up in these United States of America and in the state of Michigan, and we've got to fight for that.
Absolutely.
Because for them, this is existential, and frankly, for us in the Arab American community, it is also existential.
Absolutely. Now that you decided to run, and we don't have a lot of time to get into this, what are some of the highlights, 2 or 3 important issues that are you think are important for the state of Michigan that you want to change or accomplish?
Yeah. Look, number one, we've got to pass universal health care. We pay more in health care than any other country in the world. We pay 19 cents on every dollar spent in our economy in health care. If you go to Canada, not too far from here, they're spending 11 cents. Everybody in their society has health care, while 600,000 Michiganders don't have health care. And because we don't have health care, there are a lot of other issues. Facts like our prescription drugs are too expensive, and even our auto insurance is too high. So we proposed a plan called MichiCare. MichiCare would be a Medicare for all style single-payer health care system for Michigan. It would take 10 cents off the cost of health care immediately. It would save the average Michigan family about $5,000. Every single Michigander would have health care. And then we would also be able to reduce the cost of prescription drugs because we could negotiate them down for the 10 million people in our state, and would reduce the cost of auto insurance, which gets me to the second issue, which is auto insurance is way too expensive in Michigan. And that's largely because we're asking auto insurance to be health insurance too. And so we've got to be able to reverse the rates on auto insurance, and we do that by, first of all, passing health reform, but then second, making sure that there's not redlining in the system. People who live in Dearborn or Detroit are paying higher rates in auto insurance than almost anywhere else because we allow the system to redline. They take decisions about where you live, what your credit score is, and how much education you have to dictate what your rates are, and that's not fair. To me, they should just be able to look at what your driving record looks like, because that's the only predictor of how you drive and how much it should cost. And then we also need to make sure that we have accountability and transparency in the system, and we're proposing a Truth and Insurance Commission that would appoint everyday citizens to hold the system accountable. And then we got to get the fraud and the exploitation out. We're watching lawyers and doctors exploit the system, which raises the cost for everybody and makes it so that people who live in communities like Dearborn are paying 3 times the rate as the national average for something as simple as the ability to just drive your car and be insured. And then I think number 3 is we've got to de-DeVos our public education system. Betsy DeVos has run amok with the system of for-profit charter schools, and I just don't believe anybody should be taking money that we pay in taxes and pocketing it. That money has to be spent on our kids. And so I'm not against charters in total, but I am against for-profit charters, and I believe that we need to start investing in our public schools again. And then lastly, infrastructure. Look, it's not just roads and bridges, and our roads are terrible, and we've got to fix that, but it's also our water infrastructure. Flint happened because we have old water infrastructure, and despite having 85% of the country's fresh water, we are the epicenter of water-related disasters, whether it's the Flint water crisis it's the shutoffs in Detroit, or it's the PFAS in the water in places like Kent County and Saginaw. And we got to stand up. And so enough is enough. We need leadership that is going to stand up to the corporations that's bought and sold our politics for too long. I don't take a dime of corporate money to run my campaign, but we've raised nearly $4 million, all in individual contributions. And more importantly than that, we've got 4,000 active volunteers who are knocking doors, who are sending text messages, making phone calls. And I'm inviting any of your listeners who believe in the politics that I'm talking about to be a part of this. And they can go to peoplesummer.com, sign up. We'll get you a yard sign and get you out calling, texting, or knocking on doors. But most of all, have conversations about the kind of politics we believe in and about what it means for us to stand up in this moment.
Sounds good. We have 1 minute left, and I'd like you to tell me, why should I vote for you?
If you believe in a politics that is true to the ideal of for people and by people, if you believe in the importance of people who represent our diversity as a country standing up and being a part of the system, and if you believe that we need leaders who have both the experience and the ideals to lead in our country, then I think I am the only choice. We're watching as one individual wants to buy the election and the other one wants corporations to buy them for her. And they don't have plans because they don't want to have to articulate them, because they don't want to be stuck trying to make promises to us and their corporate backers. We've got an opportunity to stand up and be honest and real about what our politics should be. I don't mince my words, and I don't think any leader should. I'm the only person with any real executive experience in government, and I believe that we can win this thing if we come together and build that politics together. Folks can go to peoplesummer.com and sign up, learn more, and get involved.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with us this morning. I know you have a busy schedule. We wish you good luck, and I hope before the election we can also get you back and talk to you a little bit more.
It was my privilege. I really appreciate you taking the time, and thank you for your leadership and your work.
Thank you so much. We're going to take a short break. Please stay tuned.
The Rama Relief Foundation provides humanitarian aid into areas inside of war-torn Syria, as well as aid to the refugees who have fled to the neighboring countries in the Middle East. The foundation offers food baskets, container shipment, mental health, education, soup kitchens, and more. Go to ramarelief.org or call 248-990-4247. Any donation amount made to Rama will go to sustaining many lives. Call now 248-990-4247.
كنت أبحث عن اشتراك في خدمة تلفزيونية جديدة، لكن صاحب المتجر أخبرني عن IPTV بوكس والتي تحتوي على القنوات العربية.
ادفع لمرة واحدة فقط واستمتع بالقنوات المميزة مدى الحياة مجانا.
أوه يا له من عرض! لقد ظننت أنني تسرعت في الشراء، وفي غضون أسبوعين بدأت قنواتي المفضلة في الاختفاء. حاولت الاتصال بالشركة، عندها اكتشفت أنه ليس لدي تصريح لمشاهدة القنوات المميزة. يا لها من مضيعة للمال والوقت.
تفضل بزيارة checkyourbox.com اليوم للتأكد من أن جهاز IPTV بوكس الخاص بك مصرح به، وأن قنواتك المفضلة متاحة وآمنة ولا تنخدع بالسعر فقط.
أسواق زمزم الواقع على 24065 أورشاد ليك في مدينة فارمington هيلز ترحب بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. تنزيلات كبيرة على عموم المواد الغذائية في يوم الأربعاء من كل أسبوع. لا تنسوا فريش كاري اوت، جميع انواع المعجنات، وايضا صواني الكامبو المشكله والصمون الحار. لحوم حلال الجاليه العربيه والاسلاميه الملحمه باداره قصاب الجاليه المعروف سلوان جربوع. زوروهم على 24065 اورشاد ليك في مدينه فارمington هيلز، او اتصلوا بهم على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمذاق عنوان لجميع طلباتكم، اتصلوا على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمعامله الراقية وكرم الضيافة عنوان.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Naji Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Naji Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Naji Abood 734-744-9796.
بدأناه معكم وعاهدناكم على أن نستمر بمزيد من المتعة والعروض الحصرية على قناتي زي ألوان وزي أفلام. زي ألوان هي أول وأكبر قناة مسلسلات عربية هندية في أمريكا. أضخم الإنتاجات، مسلسلات حصرية، ومع زي أفلام فأنتم على موعد مع مغامرة جديدة كل يوم لاكتشاف سحر بوليوود. تابعوا حصريا قناتي زي ألوان وزي أفلام الآن في أمريكا على ديش نتورك وسلينج تي في.
Life is a non-profit charity that's provided humanitarian aid and development to people and communities for over 25 years, regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life for Relief and Development rushes in to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Please help improve these efforts. Make your tax-deductible donation to Life now at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493.
Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. I know Jerry is with us on the line, and although we don't have a lot of time, but since you called, I want to give you a chance very quickly. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Khalil Hachem. Thank you for taking my call. In the meantime, I want to wish our country happy birthday, America. Happy 4th of July. We are, as Arab American, we are proud to be a part of this country, to build this country and to be a part of it, and we are very honored to be an American. So happy
Thank you.
4th of July.
Thank you. You got 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Yes, Khalil Hachem, I was trying to catch Mr. Abdul El-Sayed, and my two questions was to him, and maybe your second guest could answer me.
Go ahead. What are the questions?
The question was, would you support the state of Michigan to become sanctuary city, and if yes, why? Second question will be, do you agree to legalize marijuana in the state of Michigan, and especially if one of the candidates, Dr. Sheree, said you will use the revenue to fix road and bridges, and I was wondering, but I would appreciate if you address this question to your second guest, Mr. Amer Zahr.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. What we'll do is we'll reserve these two for when Mr. Sayed comes back, because he's the one who's running for governor. Good morning, Amer.
Good morning, Khalil. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for being with us, and I really appreciate it. And what we're going to do is, we're going to start very quickly. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to start very quickly. I'd like to ask you, since you're a law professor, I wanted to ask you about the recent Supreme Court ruling in regard to the Muslim ban.
Well, I mean, look, it was a very disturbing decision. You know, we have a lot of principles that we deal with in constitutional law. Obviously, you can't discriminate against any group in an executive order or a law or in any way based on religion. But a lot of times, you know, presidents or Congress or state legislatures have found out ways to discriminate without explicitly, you know, naming a religion or explicitly using discriminatory language. And we call that, you know, discriminatory intent. If we're able to find evidence that you had discriminatory intent, then we will look at the law as unconstitutionally discriminatory. In this case, though, what the Supreme Court said, and that's the most damaging part of their opinion, we all know that the president, sort of on the face of it, has the power to restrict immigration from certain countries, and you know, he has a lot of latitude to do that. So, on the face of it, this executive order, it was really the third sort of try of this executive order, was fine. It was constitutional. But the problem is, the president over and over told us why he was doing it. In 2015, he very clearly stated that he wanted to ban all Muslims. So just because he eventually got to a point where he sort of used flowery language and language that was technically permissible under the law, doesn't mean we should ignore that his sort of very outward, explicit discrimination in putting this together. But that's exactly what the court did. The court basically said to the president and basically set a precedent that said, look, if you want to be a racist, if you want to discriminate, make sure you use the right language. Make sure you use the right flowery legalese so that we don't call this unconstitutional. Exactly. They basically said, if you want to write a Muslim ban, take off your hood and put on your suit. And when you do that, it'll be okay with us.
Yeah.
That's the most dangerous part of it.
Can it be reversed or changed?
Well, look, luckily, this is what they ruled on in any case was an executive order. So the next president could easily rescind this executive order or sign a different one, or even this president could rescind this executive order. I mean, it was not a law at the end of the day. So the effects of it could be reversed. But this decision that they set down, this precedent of saying, we don't care what you've said before, we don't care if you've told us that you want to be a racist, as long as the language on the face of the executive order isn't racist, it's okay with us, that is much harder to reverse, and that's more dangerous.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's really unfortunate. I mean, when I really heard it as the highest court of the land to affirm racism like that was really not a good day, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and what the sort of more conservative legal scholars are saying is that, that they're just being what they call strict constructionists. They're just being what they call literalists, just looking at the text of a law and looking at the text of an executive order and nothing else. And what those of us on the other side are saying is no, things happen in a context. Things happen with history, and we have to look at these things so that we protect our fundamental beliefs. Basically, what the court said today is this: if I own a business in Dearborn, I can't have a sign in my business that says no black people allowed. I can't have that. That's racist. That's unconstitutional. But what the Supreme Court said today is that if I have a business in Dearborn, and I've been telling people over and over again that I don't like black people and I don't want them in my business, then I can put up a sign in my business that doesn't say no black people, but that says no people from Detroit, knowing that Detroit is a city of 85% black people.
Exactly.
And I can put up a sign that says no people from Detroit in my business. Exactly. And that would be okay, because I'm not being racist in the words, even though everyone knows I'm being racist in my intent. The Supreme Court today said that's okay, and that's a problem.
Absolutely. Also wanted to, if you can tell us a little bit about the comedy festival. We're going to shift to a different subject now because of time element.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the comedy festival and how we can help.
Well, good. First of all, did I explain the legal stuff right? Because now I can tell my mom that I'm pretty good at the law profession.
You've done a great job,
Okay.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. And your mom should be proud of you, as we are.
Now she just wants me to get married, but I'm 41 and I'm not married yet, and this is a problem because she doesn't believe me anymore when I tell her why I'm not. I don't know if I want to get married, but now she stops believing me about my status, if that makes sense for you. And the other day we were talking, and she said, "Are you dating anybody?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Are you gay?" "It's okay, just tell me." And that wasn't the worst question, Khalil. The worst question was the follow-up question. She said to me, "Are you gay?" And I said, "No." She said, "Are you sure?" So that's worse than the first question.
Bless her. She's looking after your best interest.
Yes. So in any case, yes, I'm a comedian too, and that's actually how I pay the bills. And as a lot of your listeners might know, I'm a comedian, but I'm an activist, and I sort of put these things together. And so for the last 5 years, I've done a comedy festival in Dearborn. And a few years ago, I got the idea to do this same comedy festival in Palestine. And what I do is I take about 8 to 10 comedians. We go from America. We fly to Palestine. We perform for 5 days in Ramallah, Jerusalem, and Bethlehem. So we perform in the old city of Bethlehem, the old city of Jerusalem, and in Ramallah. And we did this in 2015 and 2016, and all the shows were sold out, and CNN and BBC and all these big media companies covered it. But in those 2 years when I did it, I actually proposed the idea to the State Department, because the State Department has a cultural outreach office, and they agreed to fund it. So in 2015, they funded it. In 2016, they funded it. However, when Trump became president, the State Department let us know that they would no longer be funding this festival. So in 2017, unfortunately, we had to cancel the festival. Now I want to bring it back in 2018, but I need the support of the community in Michigan and throughout the country.
What's the cost?
So what I've set up is a funding campaign. It's at PalestineComedy.com so that people can support this. We've already raised a lot of money, and I think that we can get to our goal. And even if we don't fully reach our goal, we can still do the festival. But at PalestineComedy.com, people can get information about the festival, what the money is going towards. You know, we have to fly out a lot of comedians from America, pay them, put them in hotels, feed them, rent theaters when we're there, because we don't really charge much for the tickets there. And so we want to do this festival. We need the support of the community. We've shown that it's a success and it works, but politics have gotten in the way, and so we're trying to ask for support to make it happen.
Again, this is www.palestinecomedy.com.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with us, and then we'll do what we can to let people know about this. Hopefully we can, drum up some support for you. I think it's a very important project, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. I know how tough it is for you sometimes to wake up early.
Listen, Khalil, I became a comedian. I worked hard for a long time so that I could become a comedian, so that I would never, ever have to get up before 10 a.m. So you know how important
I appreciate it. I feel privileged that you got up very early, and I know how tough is that, but thank you so much for getting up.
Thanks, Khalil.
I appreciate it. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziyad.com. That's www.ziyad.com. Ziyad, quality products from our family to yours.
بدأناه معكم وعاهدناكم على أن نستمر بمزيد من المتعة والعروض الحصرية على قناتي زي ألوان وزي أفلام. زي ألوان هي أول وأكبر قناة مسلسلات عربية هندية في أمريكا. أضخم الإنتاجات، مسلسلات حصرية، ومع زي أفلام فأنتم على موعد مع مغامرة جديدة كل يوم لاكتشاف سحر بوليوود. تابعوا حصريا قناتي زي ألوان وزي أفلام الآن في أمريكا على ديش نتورك وسلينج تي في.
أسواق زمزم الواقع على 24065 أورشد ليك في مدينة فارمington هيلز ترحب بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. تنزيلات كبيرة على عموم المواد الغذائية في يوم الأربعاء من كل أسبوع. لا تنسوا فريش كاري اوت، جميع انواع المعجنات، وايضا صواني الكمبو المشكله والصمون الحار. لحوم حلال الجاليه العربيه والاسلاميه الملحمه باداره قصاب الجاليه المعروف سلوان جربوع. زوروهم على 24065 اورشد ليك في مدينه فارمington هيلز، او اتصلوا بهم على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمذاق عنوان لجميع طلباتكم. اتصلوا على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمعامله الراقية وكرم الضيافة عنوان. كنت أبحث عن اشتراك في خدمة تلفزيونية جديدة، لكن صاحب المتجر أخبرني عن IPTV بوكس والتي تحتوي على القنوات العربية.
ادفع لمرة واحدة فقط واستمتع بالقنوات المميزة مدى الحياة مجانا.
يا له من عرض! لقد ظننت أنني تسرعت في الشراء، وفي غضون أسبوعين بدأت قنواتي المفضلة في الاختفاء. حاولت الاتصال بالشركة، عندها اكتشفت أنه ليس لدي تصريح لمشاهدة القنوات المميزة. يا لها من مضيعة للمال والوقت.
تفضل بزيارة checkyourbox.com wnzk.com اليوم للتأكد من أن جهاز IPTV باكس الخاص بك مصرح به وأن قنواتك المفضلة متاحة وآمنة ولا تنخدع بالسعر فقط.
قشات ميديترينيان ماركت بإدارة سهر قشات وأولاده يرحبون بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. جميع أنواع المواد الغذائية، البان طازجة، الكرزات والبهارات الطازجة. داخل الأسواق مطعم ميديترينيان شيش كباب يقدم يوميا جميع أنواع الكباب، المقبلات العربية العراقية وصواني الكامبو المميزة. تفتح الأسواق من 8 إلى 9 مساء من الاثنين وحتى السبت، ومن 8 صباحا إلى 9 مساء يوم الأحد. تقع الأسواق على 32839 نورث ويسترن هايواي في مدينة فارمينغتون هيلز. لحوم حلال للجالية الإسلامية. لطلباتكم من المطعم كول 248-538-7855. That is 248-538-7855. قشة ميديترينيان ماركت، خدمة متميزة ومعاملة راقية.
When you're looking for the best in optical care, Dr. Imad Nakash is your doctor to see. With years of experience and thousands of successful procedures performed, you can trust your eyes to Dr. Imad Nakash. See Dr. Imad Nakash and his professional staff for your eye care needs. There's 2 locations to serve you. In Hazel Park, call 248-336-3937. 248-336-3937. In Rochester Hills, call 248-299-3937. That's 248-299-3937.
Welcome back and thank you for being with us. This is Khalil Hachem on the US Arab Radio this morning. Today is June 29th on Friday, and we have covered quite a bit of territory so far. We're going to continue with Dr. Suwan. Good morning, Dr. Suwan.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? And thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think it's a very important subject, and we should all actually talk about it and, make sure that this thing should, as a matter of fact, it should stop as soon as possible.
Absolutely. It's really terrible. And we wanted to ask you, first, I'm glad that, Dr. Amer Zahr is carrying on this project in the comedy project in Palestine, and hopefully we can get him enough support so he can continue. And the other issue, which is, what's really going on, the separation of children from their parents, and then the Supreme Court decision and all of the ramifications, on children and the stress. How do we deal with that? I mean, this is really a lot of stress.
First of all, we should identify the problem, and we should know that those kids are in severe stress at this point, and it is acute emotional stress, but in the future, it may evolve into an anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And, this may not happen immediately, but over time, and, the longer they are separated from their parents, this will actually be more. So we have to stop this as soon as possible. And it's never too late to stop it. Those who were affected by it, we shouldn't say that, they were affected, there is nothing we can do about it. So what I'm trying to say that if this is ending, as soon as possible, the children will be in a better place. Remember that those children, they didn't come from, societies where they were pampered or taken care of.
Sure.
They are under severe stress to start from,
Sure.
One time I watched this woman who was saying that, the reason why they came here is because they were actually threatened to be killed. So if they didn't come here, they will be killed with their children, at the same time. So they chose to come here, although they knew that it is illegal and, that, they are risking their lives and, risking other things, but they felt that it is better than being killed. So, what I would say that those children, they are under a triple stress. It's I would say threefold stress. So to add on them that they will be separated or they are separated from their parents, this is unfair. It's unfair for humanity, to tell you the truth.
Sure.
I feel that this is a failure of humanity, and what is happening right now is so small, in my opinion, and we shouldn't act that way, and we shouldn't actually, be silent about it. This is extremely important. I know that, of course, we do not know what to do, and we know we cannot actually, set any laws or, we can't stop it, but at least we shouldn't be silent about it. So in my opinion, this is basically child abuse. I mean, these kids, they will experience negative and irreparable harm due to this abuse. And as I said, first of all, the reason why they left their country, it wasn't easy. I mean, they were basically, threatened. They were, under attack or, any reason why they left their country. Because remember, Khalil, that, usually people do not like to leave their countries.
Absolutely, yeah. They like to stay where they are.
Of course.
Yeah.
So basically, the stress that caused them to leave their countries was a huge stress. And then after that, the journey to the U.S. is another stress. And they were suffering all over, this time. And now we are adding on this that, we are doing, family destruction and separation between parents and kids. This is basically, in my opinion, this is the definition of a child abuse and family abuse and family destruction. And we shouldn't be part of this in any shape or form. And, as I said, over time, the effect, that harm the kids may evolve over time. It's not actually going to be immediately, although, they are under severe emotional stress right now. And I have seen, we see, in the news and on Facebook and stuff like that, we see the children, crying, and they are put in cages, and, it is just something that, nobody actually, can take, I have seen, this woman on the news, she wasn't even able to continue, talking about it. She was just crying all of the time. We are all human. We do not promote any kind of, of this behavior. We do not promote any kind of, putting, families, in this severe stress and very terrible situation.
It's beyond me why they would. I understand the legality that their parents are being arrested for what they can, what's considered by the law a felony, and then they have to separate the children from. But in this case, it seems like it's gotten even, we tried to find a solution for a problem, we made it even a lot worse, and it's worse on everybody. It's not only worse on the children; it's also worse on the parents. I can't imagine. I can't imagine somebody losing their children, and and being happy about it.
Exactly, and believe me, it's not only affecting the people who are, in question. No, other people in the U.S. Since this happened, the only thing that, people are talking about, it's this thing. My children are so, shocked with this. And, the minute, they knew about it, all of our messages, it's about, oh my God, can you imagine something like that happening? And, those kids. And what if it was us?
Exactly.
Because, also,
one thing we got to mention, though, out of fairness to what's going on right now, that this has been going on for some time. It's not just during the Trump administration. It may have gotten worse now, but it's been going on for a long time under, Bush, under President Obama, under President Bush, under President Clinton. This has been going on for some time now. It may not be as bad as it is now, but, just wanted to mention that.
I heard about that, it has been going on for a long time, but because it is a way more right now, that's why people are reacting in this way. But it doesn't mean that when it happened during the Bush or Obama administration.
That was right, that was not.
I don't think so,
I just didn't want people to think that this is new. It's not new, but with the zero tolerance, it gotten worse. and just wanted to mention that out of fairness to everyone.
Yeah, and remember that those kids, will be stuck with depression and anxiety. They will not be able to regulate their emotions. Yeah. They will not be able to trust others. Can you imagine, there is a very, very, very strong relation between kids and their parents. Absolutely. And the parents are considered the role model for the kids. And, they are so much linked. And they are hardwired, to take, everything from their parents about this world. And, they will actually have their emotional and physical stability and security depending on their situation with their parents. So, when something like that is happening and when they are, taken from their caregivers, their development will stop.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
they will potentially suffer, this irreparable harm. So, it's basically, I would say it's our job to say no, and it's the job of activists and, lawmakers as well. And, everybody should say no about, this disaster.
Sounds good. Well, I just want to thank you for being with us, Dr. Suwan. It's so good to have you back and look forward to talk to you next month as well. Thank you so much for waking up early this morning, and so good to hear your voice.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. And for everyone, I want to thank you for being with us, for all our guests, all of you listeners, and I want to wish you a happy and safe 4th of July. It is hot, so don't spend a lot of time outside if you don't have to, and if you're going to be outside, make sure you are hydrated. And also wanted to remind you very quickly that, the housing market continues to be very hot, and if you're buying and selling, give me a call. Visit michigan.com or give me a call 313-819-0101. 313-819-0101. Have a nice and blessed weekend. Bye now.